What is the challenge? What is it? Is it the laws, or we need to do something more? Now, why then the bribery bill? Ladies and gentlemen, there is a very strong link between poverty in our continent and corruption. Currently in our country, we have a ballooning youth population. We have high unemployment. We have we lack resources, but also we use our resources very inefficiently. What problem does corruption cause in our society? Just need to say a few things. Waste causes waste. Misallocation of resources, both human and financial. It suffocates the private sector activity and entrepreneurship. It causes distortion in distribution of resources between the rich and the poor. But again, the fight against this problem is a global public good activity. Therefore, there has been strong impetus to find a solution. Who bribes officials in the lands office? Who will bribe officials in KRA to make sure they don't pay their taxes? Who will bribe officials in the Commons Registry? Private sector. Why does this happen? It happens because our systems, processes, and the procedures are inefficient.
My name is Tano Kennedy.
Yeah.
I'm a law student in the 4th year. Mine is a comment. The Bribery Act is an ingenious piece of legislation. But we have a history as a nation. And our history goes beyond legislation. We have a history of legislating everything. Because as it is said, when a man has an hammer in his hand, every problem is a name. And therefore, we have legislated, and re-legislated matters. But the issue of corruption in this country is an issue of ethics. The problem is not just having a law. The problem is implementation and looking at ourselves as Kenyans. Because we are tired of the issue of corruption in this country. It has caused us a lot of pain. We are going through very tough economic times. And no matter how we legislate, without looking at ourselves as Kenyans individually, we will not be able to solve this issue of integrity. Article 10, which introduces what is called national values of governance and principles, or a normative value system through which our society, both democratic and in our private capacity, should be ordered. And one of them is integrity. We are very busy pointing to people in the public sector to chapter 6 and telling them that this is the measure of integrity that you should live by. But we do not look at ourselves in our individual capacity and say, myself as Ken, what am I doing about it? Because it takes two to tango. It takes one to give, it takes another to receive the bribe. So it is incumbent upon us, and I would like to challenge us, the young people in this room, that we have to provide the paradigm shift. Because the law is proven, it has failed.
I think I agree with you entirely. The people use public office, okay, to gain advantage. I'm the chairman of CBK now. People come to me every day because they believe that we're in the old regime where, because of your position, you can then give them advantage. Lawyers come to me and say, now, Mr. Chairman, can you put me in the panel so that when I earn legal fees, we can share? Okay. Because that's the culture now in the country. Suppliers come to me and say, I wish to supply currency. So can I be given the tender? So the point I'm making, it begins with us. And I like what Kennedy said. That paradigm shift. A lot of us don't want to take a position because we feel we're going to be inconvenienced. So So that's why I say, I like what Kennedy said. It has to begin with us.
Can put forth, the Bribery Act seems to be legislating the morality to some extent. Now, wouldn't it be more prudent if we invested in other institutions like our education system? Because morality depends on socialization. We young people who've come from different institutions join the society without being well prepared for such environments. So when we come into the society, we just adapt the morality or the values that our society has been maintaining. So, for example, when we get off high school and when we join universities, in between, that's the first time we associate with the state. So we want identification card, we want other services rendered to us. And that's the minute we start practicing impatience or we want to bribe our way through getting these services done. But if we were well prepared in our different institutions like high schools and primary schools, and we have a strong moral value, then we wouldn't need to legislate issues like corruption. We would come out to the society with a very good moral system or moral value. Secondly, so my question is actually based on that still. Don't you think it will be more prudent if we invested in institutions, universities and other learning institutions? Yes.
Amina, I agree with you. We need to do much more, but additionally then, have the law basically to set the boundaries. Because yes, schools is all right, but what happens at home? Because the mentoring happens in school and at home. So that we have to look at this holistically. Whatever you're receiving from your parents, really to be augmented by what happens in school. And again, yes, the moral fabric is broken down. But we need to do something about it. We need to start somewhere so that the way we enforce it. There is a lot of corruption in the bar. Today, there are many lawyers I will never trust with 10 bob. That is the truth of the matter. There's a lot of rot in professions, the legal profession included. These are sometimes you have a lawyer on the other side whom you know bribes judges. And you are more scared to appear before that judge because maybe they have some arrangement and you want your case not to go to a different judge. Not because you have bribed the other judge, but because you will have fairness. So in the legal profession, we have a serious problem. And even these judges we appoint, you saw the vetting that took place, but we still have the problem in the judiciary. And these lawyers are the ones that are used. There are many times that people come to me and they say, I have this case, and I've come to you. Do you know Judge so-and-so? So I asked this guy, are you coming to me because I know the judge, or are you coming to me because I am competent to do your case? A few years ago, I was doing a brief for a client. And this client came to me and said, look, I don't want to work with you anymore. So I said, why? Because I need a lawyer who is a thief. And it was as clear as that. And you are not a thief. So I said, okay. But I told him, you know what? A thief steals from everybody, including the principal, like you. So he said, no. So he went to some lawyer. The lawyer took money from him. He did not deliver the results. So he came to me and he forgot that he told me that he wanted a lawyer who is a thief. And he said, that lawyer is a thief. So he said, but that is what you are looking for. Okay? So we have a problem in the profession. And it goes back to what Kennedy said, that moral fabric. Somebody will see me driving a particular car, you guys come out of the law school, and you want to drive the same car tomorrow. Not possible. Okay? I was on foot. I didn't have a car when I started practicing. And if I give you a story here, you will be amused or amazed. I used to teach at USIU. I used to teach business law for people who are doing business administration. So one day I take a bus to go to USIU, which then was in Westland. And I was standing. Next to me was a man standing carrying matumbo. And we were squeezed. I was wearing a suit that was, it was a three-piece, I was a gentleman. But a three-piece from a second-hand shop. But all the same, it was smart. So, because we were squeezed, the paper in which this guy was carrying matumbo burst and it spilled into my trouser. That was 5 minutes to 5. My class was at 5. So I asked this guy, what is it? So he says, it's matumbo. He didn't look at me twice. So I came out of the bus, obviously very embarrassed. I didn't have enough time to hang around or to want change. So what did I do? And if anybody works for BBC, please don't report me. So it did remain here. So I went to the washroom and I locked the door. I moved my trouser, washed it, and used the blow dryer. And I was in class saying, good evening, students, I am here. The point I'm making is that unless you are patient, and one thing I found about young people, because I was a young person at some point, is that young people are not patient. You have the advantage of a lot of time in front of you. Don't build a house of cards because you will come down. Take your time and build one brick after another. That way you become a more grounded person.